they brought Dwayne in.
Yeah.
And him and Dwayne really clicked, so why wouldn't he stay with that guy? If Uriah had any foresight at all, he would say, you know what, me and Dwayne don't get along, but he's really helping the team out and helping the guys out, so we got to figure this out. And the way he went about it and completely just blasted him on the MMA hour with all that stuff,
Uriah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was the first one to speak out on it, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's Uriah. This whole thing is Uriah trying to save face and trying to keep the golden boy, pretty boy image, but he's a harsh, sheer businessman. Let's not get it twisted. And if you're a fighter and you're trying to be the best, and then someone you brought up and you got into the sport comes in and is the best, how's your ego going to handle that?
Yeah.
And Cody is the perfect heel because when I see him, he makes me want to train MMA.
I'm starting to, I like his fighting style, but man, when he talks, he's just like a dumb kid. He's yeah, he's just a punk. It's the only way I can put it,
Yeah.
And it's just weird how just the way that they acted after that dude lost and how the coaches like blew up, and they're taking it personally, like that they're 0-2 to TJ, and like they literally, the one, I don't even know who the dude is, like the grappling coach or something, was pretty much yelling at the dude for not sticking with the fight in the hands, and and yeah, just thought it was very poor the way they handled it. But to get back to the other issue, I think anytime, and we've seen it, time and time again, anytime where loyalty is questioned or money is involved, if there aren't cooler heads, to kind of come together to what's the fucking word? Mediate, the whole situation. Like if the three of them would have just sat down in a room and worked something out, if it really meant that much to them, but there's always three sides to every story, so we don't really know. We know the alpha male side, and we know the Bang TJ side, but we don't know what really happened. So you for me, it's kind of tough to take sides where, I could see Uriah getting upset for a multitude of different reasons. If the business relationship didn't, the relationship didn't work between Bang and Uriah, whatever, they go their separate ways. But now, unfortunately, TJ's kind of was put in the middle of it and was trying to do the right thing to go back and forth, and it just so happened that, like you said, he was in the right place at the right time, and Muscle Farm stepped in and was like, hey, here's, I guess Uriah said $5,000 a month, I'm sorry, dude, if someone's fucking handing me $5,000 a month to go train, where am I going? Where do I have to move? Like, oh, I get to go to Colorado? All right, like, no hard feelings, but here's the offer that's on the table. Uriah,
what are you paying me?
If you're gonna pay me, $5,500 or $6,000, cool. You know what? I'll make it work, but I gotta look out for mine at the end of the day.
Yeah, that whole thing, because we've dealt with it with people we know and what have you, but that whole loyalty thing when they pull that card, or being with the same team all your whole career to your detriment, is just utter bullshit. That's just pure stupidity. Yes, there's a thing about being loyal, but loyalty isn't staying somewhere and training there forever and ever. Loyalty is how you act towards the person and how you treat each other, and the fact that they're having a pull apart when those dudes train together for however many years, and granted it's on TV and they might be hyping it up a little bit. That said, if you're martial artists, all this shit, you're having a pull apart with a dude you used to train with because he went and trained somewhere else because you guys had a disagreement. Get the fuck out of here. You're a clown.
Well, at the end of the day, they're kids. You know, and they're
bunch of dumb wrestlers.
You know. But it's the first 2 episodes have definitely been more about that than about, you know, the fighters themselves, or at least it's been 50-50.
What's the weight class?
I believe it's all 170.
Because I saw Joe Stevenson was on there, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't, you know, he hasn't been brought up much. Just, you know, they go fighter by fighter. So Tom got a good chunk of it last night.
Is there any other names on there that I recognize?
Whoever the dude was, Jesse, whatever, the kid that made the finals and then like went on a drunken rampage and Dana kicked him out. He's back on. James Krause, who's in the UFC right now, is on the show.
Why'd they put him on if he's in the UFC? To keep his spot?
No, I think it was he never was on the show.
Oh.
So I don't know what the reasoning behind it was, but he was asked and he wanted to. I guess he was saying that he always wanted to be on the Ultimate Fighter and never had the opportunity, so now he's gonna, I guess, make the most of it. But that's about it. No one that I really
recognize.
Yeah. But the years that I followed are few and far between. I followed the first couple seasons, and then from like 5 to 20, I didn't really pay attention. So
we hopped back on for the Ronda Rousey season when you were living at home.
Yeah.
At that point, but I watched that, and then I had watched Tom's when Tom was on.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think maybe after Tito and Shamrock.
Pretty much, yeah.
With the exception of knowing some people who were on the show or knowing some wrestlers who I heard were on the show, I stopped following after the first couple seasons. It's just a tired old format.
Yeah, it's kind of the same shit.
Yeah, if I would do that, I would let those dudes live at home. You follow them at their training camps, you follow them at home, and then you fly them in. And you don't have to have the whole team there or whatever. Just highlight some guys, or do it like they used to do it on the Tap Out show that was on Versus. Following an up-and-comer, like they followed Donald Cowboy Cerrone when he was coming up. You follow someone like that, you take them to a couple fights or whatever. Spotlight some guys, but putting a bunch of dudes in a house, getting them drunk, and creating a bunch of drama. That's pro wrestling, and you're trying not to be that. You're trying to be a sport.
Yeah, they should definitely have 2 separate houses.
Yeah, and they should let them go out. Like, they shouldn't lock them in the house. It's so dumb.
That's
like,
weird.
Here's the thing: if you go out and you get in trouble, you're off the fucking show. Bottom fucking line.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but it's same with providing them with alcohol. It's just the more you can find them, the more square footage, bro. You put that much testosterone and that much square footage, and you fuel it with alcohol or different personalities and fucking weirdos and emotionally disturbed fucking people on the spectrum and whatever else kind of weirdness you fucking can encounter, you're gonna get some crazy shit.
What do you think the percentage is of emotionally disturbed? There's people on the spectrum that fight MMA.
I think it's less and less. I think you're getting, we're into that kind of new breed generation of fighter where, now you're having kids step into the cage that are hybrids, that have been doing, MMA since since they could be on a mat, their dad's living vicariously through them, and 2 days a week they're going to shore thing, and then they're going to judo before shore thing, and then they're going over here to this guy for this, and so you have these kids that have well-rounded backgrounds stepping into the cage. So it's not to say that it's not an outlet for convicts and criminals to just kind of find a way and make some money and take out some of their aggression. I'm sure you still see that places, but I bet you it's more athlete-minded people.
I guess I should reword my question and say, is Jason Miller on the spectrum? I guess that's what I really wanted to know. In your opinion.
I think it started as like a gimmick, and then
he worked himself into a shoe.
He went full retard, and I'm sure you put on some, whoever knows what kind of substances he puts in, medicates with. I'm sure that doesn't help either, and who knows how much damage he's taken. He's been fighting. He's an OG, what I would consider, second tier OG. Behind the Hoist Gracie, Ken Shamrock type dudes.
Yeah, and towards the end, his last couple of fights are bad. Just had nothing left. That fight in the UFC against Bisping, he was just a shell. That was bad.
Well, he's one of those guys that came up when you could have a little bit of brawling and was a good guy on the ground with jiu-jitsu and could take a punch, and it's evolved from that. It's a lot more precise and skillful and technique driven and polished. You know what I mean? You're never going to see another Tank Abbott in the UFC again. It's just that type of fighter is not making it. That's
more GSPs these days.
Well, yeah, GSPs and Cody Garbarents and Rory McDonald's, and how many kids that we knew that were doing shit like that, or guys that we know that have kids now that are fucking thinking they're gonna create the next Frankie Edgar or whoever you wanna call it.
Yeah, too many
people
guys.
People that poo at me when I say put your kid in gymnastics.
Because in the long run, if you put him in gymnastics, he'll end up where you need him to be. But if you just put him, it's like people running without fixing their mobility issues. You need to learn how to move before you do anything, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to move. Just because you were in gym class and you ran the mile, that doesn't mean dog shit. Let's be honest. They don't teach you how to move. I didn't learn how to move till I was 25. And I still don't move the right way.
I know. I'm still learning how to move. The other thing was that on Saturday night, Ally Quinta TKO of Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, he demolished him, huh?
He put him away pretty soundly, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Did you hear any of the after stuff with him, though?
I did. I went and I listened to his interview on Ariel. I heard he's training his peripherals.
Yeah. What do you think of that dude?
He's definitely Long Island to a T. You can definitely tell he's a Matt Serra guy. He's a little bit outspoken, but I've known a couple Ally Quintos in my life. Not exactly that one, but different name, different Tony Jabroni. That said, I think I would get along with him. I think he's out there. I think he has some good points, though, about getting paid. And granted, he's one of the lower level guys, but if you don't speak up in the climate of the UFC today, if you don't make a stink, if you don't make yourself different, you're not going to get those opportunities. So I